Hello everyone, I'm Julia, the kind kidnapper who kidnaps Dr. Teo in the previous video. It's a beautiful Sunday and today I'm on a mission again. Today I'm going to get Dr. Teo into a heated debate with someone who always pushes the blame to him when patients cannot claim their insurance. Let's see if Dr. Teo is free for a coffee talk. Yes, Dr. Teo is free. Let me text the mysterious guest. All set. Welcome to Turn Up the Heat, the oncology versus insurance debate. Today, I will get Dr. Teo and Adrian, an insurance team leader, to come over for a coffee and discuss some very sensitive behind-the-scenes issues regarding medical insurance claims.
Wait, you are? Wait, Dr. Teo.
Hi, Dr. Teo. Hi, Adrian. Guess what are we doing today? Okay, so you see, I'm a cancer survivor diagnosed with leukemia 30 years ago. And you know what? Insurance isn't popular 30 years back. And I wasn't covered with an insurance plan. I'm still not covered with one now. Because once you survive cancer, no policy purchase will now cover it. You will be denied health coverage not just for cancer, but also for any complications arising due to cancer. Is that correct, doctor?
Partially.
Adrian?
Partially.
Okay, so sometimes I spoke to my insurance agent. He told me to refer to my doctor. When I spoke to my doctor asked me to refer to my insurance agent. So today, I got the both of you here to clear the air for me. And to audiences, I'm going to drill these two handsome guys beside me to tell us what you don't know about your insurance policy and what some insurance agents might not want you to know about your medical claims. When you're not able to make your medical claims, whose fault is it? Is it the doctor, the agent, or is it the patient? Let's turn the heat up. Okay, we'll start with Dr. Teo. Doctor, can you tell me one thing that annoys you the most when it comes to medical claim?
See, the doctor know how to write or not.
Actually, this is a common statement. A lot of Malaysians will always say, how much you can claim and what you can claim, it depends on how good your doctor writes it.
Yeah, but actually it's not true. We cannot lie. Okay, we can only tell the facts. So whatever thing the patient need, then let's say that this is a treatment required, we submit as what it is. We cannot create a story. We should not hide anything behind also. So yeah, it depends on subsequently the patient's insurance policy and the condition that is related, that they are the one to decide whether this thing can be claimed or not.
Okay. Adrian, what about you? What is the one thing that annoys you the most?
In my experience, it's probably when the clients are requesting to be admitted, and then some doctors just write it very vaguely, and the insurance company cannot understand. So they go back and forth to ask the doctor more questions, and the delay, they always go back to village. Why the delay? What's wrong with your insurance company? So the delay, hence, is at the hospital side. But for clients, we are the first point of contact. So we face this difficulty at the point when this is happening. So we have to go back to the client and tell them, please speak to the doctor, ask them to explain further why you need to be admitted, and so on and so forth. So that is our major, I would say, frustration. Yeah.
Okay, but even if the doctor writes everything perfectly, like Dr. Teo, I'm sure you have read so many GL before, but I'm sure there's still a certain number of claims that just don't go through.
Yeah. Okay, for example, let's say patient just want to have a routine scan without any, let's say, any symptom. Just, let's say the patient is on a surveillance phase, is already disease-free in cancer, and then for long-term surveillance, this kind of claim usually will not be allowed to go through immediately. Usually it's under pay in claim basis. Yeah, most of the time it's like this. And then, or anything which is not related, or related to the current diagnosis under this consultant, or anything which is particularly mentioned in the patient's insurance policy, those things will be excluded also. And unfortunately, a lot of patients, they don't actually realize what are the exclusions from their insurance policy.
Yes. I thought also, like, for example, in a cancer policy, right?
Yes.
we always know that maybe it includes like the 36 different kind of cancer.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, skin cancer is sometimes excluded from the policy.
Yeah, in Malaysia, based on my experience, most cancers are covered except for skin cancer, except for malignant melanoma. Yeah, simply because one of the main reasons is because of the very small number of cancer patients coming out with skin cancer, and usually mostly aged people. So that's why it's not covered. Although we probably in the future it may be covered, but it depends on the insurance company whether do they want to include that into their critical illness definition. Okay, let me throw you a scenario, doctor. Now you see that this one person is down with, for what I've told, is ovarian cancer, got their ovaries removed, but yet they were not given the critical illness benefit, meaning which it is probably a tumor, but not given, didn't fulfill their definition. How can we be of help to them to make the insurance company know that this person probably really has cancer, or it's leading to cancer, or something of that sort?
For cancer patients, when you want to do insurance claim, basically the claim fall under two categories. One is treatment-related claims. The one usually will be for under medical card. Okay. Another one will be the critical illness. This is a separate thing. Not all medical cards come together with the critical illness. Okay, that depends on what kind of policies they purchase. And then for the critical illness claim, usually is what the commonly mentioned as a 36 diseases, yes. Right? One of them will be cancer. Usually, to confirm this is cancer, we need a histopathological report. Okay. Or in addition, we may need the tumor markers, the scans, and all the evidence that support that this is a cancer. But just for your information, not all cancers will be covered, will be considered as critical illness. Or let's say, for example, like some cancers at early stage, they will not be considered as critical illness. Yeah. Usually the insurance company, they will come out with a list of the early stage diseases. Usually I think about 10 or 15 of them, which is at the early phase, which is highly curable, and the patient can resume their life and I will share the same long-term life expectancy. This kind of condition will not be included in the critical illness claim. On the other way, the other claim is a treatment claim. Okay, regardless whether this is a benign ovarian tumor or this is a malignant ovarian tumor, as long as this mass itself is compromising patient general health condition and this thing needs to be removed, the claim should be covered already, usually. Okay. This is for the treatment part. Treatment part, they can claim because our patient needs it. Yes. Critical illness, you need to fulfill the critical illness criteria.
Yeah.
Yep.
So is there a scenario where, just say it's a benign tumor, but it still requires radiotherapy or chemo? Will that be a situation?
Yes.
So if they were to go through radiation or chemotherapy, would that be considered as a critical illness as well?
That is very subjective.
I see.
Yes, that is very subjective. Because critical illness, they have different companies, they have their own list of diseases can be included or they are excluded. Okay. But for treatment part, it can be claimed. One of the common example will be low-grade brain tumor.
Okay.
Low-grade glioma brain tumor. Okay. Low-grade, that means after surgery, after the tumor was removed or partially removed, usually patient will go for radiotherapy to the brain. Yes. And then in some condition, the doctors may add in oral chemotherapy for the patients. Okay. And then usually this treatment per se, right, will be covered. Correct. Okay, not a problem. But for critical illness claim, that is a very big problem. Yeah. Because for certain insurance companies' policies, their definition of critical illness does not include low-grade brain tumor. Because for them, low-grade brain tumor is not actually a brain cancer yet. Yep.
Okay.
Only when it's serious enough to be considered critical illness, then you can claim it under critical illness.
Yes. And then there will be another things to remind anyone who claim the critical illness will be, once your critical illness claim is made, that means this insurance policy usually will not be able to be upgraded anymore.
Yeah.
And then most of the time, other insurance companies, once they know that you claim critical illness for selected diseases, right, usually they would not accept you also.
Wow, this is actually a very big financial impact for a cancer survivor, let's say.
Especially if they live 30 or 20 years later. That means the current policy may not be suitable for that era already.
Yeah.
Because of inflations and things like that.
So for example, 30 years ago, okay, maybe I'm covered for 150K, which is a lot back then. Okay, but after I'm diagnosed with cancer, I made a claim and then I'm not allowed to upsize or upgrade. And 30 years later, I'm also just allowed to claim 150K, which I think, Dr. Teo, what can I do with 150K today if I got cancer?
Some of the rare situations, some insurance company may allow you to buy a new policy after you have considered disease-free for, let's say, a significant long period of time, maybe 15 or 20 years, or they have their own justification. And then usually they will add in this clause. That means they covered you the rest, let's say your diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, or any other things, except your previous cancer. Yeah, so when you come back to your previous cancer, diagnosed and claim critical illness, let's say breast cancer, no one will cover for your breast cancer anymore, but they can cover for the rest other medical illnesses. And then they need justification from doctors, and you need to have a significant long period of survival and disease-free.
Doctor, talking about breast cancer, I also heard that even if I'm diagnosed with breast cancer, not all treatments along the way is claimable. Is that right?
Usually it's claimable. Conventionally, chemotherapy, surgery will be claimable. Yes. Radiotherapy for selected companies' policy, especially those who purchased it a long time ago, let's say 1990s or 1980s, which they never actually upgraded it, they may consider radiotherapy as outpatient or pay-and-claim basis, but still within their coverage. And then the gray zone area will be where the patient already completed the initial induction of treatment. So they go for long-term adjuvant oral medication, especially for breast cancer. You know, breast cancer, some of them, they need to on oral medication, oral hormones for 5 years, 10 years. Yeah, these are the gray zone area. Some insurance companies that allow the patient to continue their claim, some does not allow, because they think that this is preventive medicine. This is not a curative treatment. Yeah, and that different companies, they have different definition on that.
Corrective measures or not. Say, for example, like a breast cancer where they have to go through a mastectomy. Now, they want to do a reconstruction. That will not be covered under the medical plan.
The reconstruction part?
Yeah, the reconstruction. So,
because it's not life-threatening.
Yes, it's not. It's not. It's a corrective measure. Unless there is a part of the policy which they have purchased covers such benefit.
Okay. So there's actually a lot of all these exclusions that maybe when I look into my policy, I might not know that, certain stages is not considered as critical illness. The corrective procedures are not considered, the corrective procedures are not claimable. How can I actually know what are the things that are being excluded?
First and foremost, when you sit down with your planner, understand what policy you're going into. Understand why the objective of getting this policy. And it's the duty of the planner to let you know these are the exclusions, maybe a sample of policies, and run through the exclusions. And then once you understand, everything is all stated in the policy booklet. If it's not a book, probably now it's an e-book, please go through. But many of times, we being Malaysians, and I must say sometimes planners do mention this, but don't worry, everything is covered. So
that's a scary part.
That's a scary part. Yeah.
Because not all are covered.
That's not all covered. Yeah. You have to accept the fact. So problem arise at the point of claim. Hey, I thought you told me it's covered. How come now not covered? How come I need to fork out so much money? So the blame game starts. And then you say, go and speak to your doctor. So the doctor can only write what he's diagnosed and what is being scanned, and he cannot write above anything just to justify a claim or something of that sort. So this replaces the book. I would say the policyholder has the right to see if they're not happy with the exclusions or with the benefit, they may not want to move forward. Yes, and it's also the duty of the planner to inform them. They may not have covered, but also inform them that go through their policy book. If you agree, you have a free look period. If you're not happy, you can always exercise your free look period to move forward with a different kind of policy if you're not happy. Yeah. And also another good thing is that when we go back to 36 illnesses, many insurance companies have moved forward to about 40 to 50 types of illnesses, which is a good thing. They are covering more and more diseases, which is very important because, like Dr. Teo knows, many new things are just surfacing as day goes by in the medical world. Yes.
Just to add in a few more points, unfortunately, a lot of people, including me, when we sign the insurance policy, when we purchase at time, right, we don't actually listen too much, Because if we want to wait for the agent to tell me all the exclusion, right,
yes,
it may take hours. And then regarding the ebook that he mentioned, frankly speaking, right, that kind of fonts with that kind of thickness, right, I don't feel that I want to flip anymore. So, but frankly speaking, usually when patients come to me and claim that they want to use their insurance to cover for their treatment, I will always ask them to go back to their agent to clarify a few questions. Number one, what is their annual limit? Number two, what is their annual renewal date? Number three, what is their lifetime limit that can be claimed? And number four, what are the special conditions that particularly pertaining to that patient's policy that those special clauses and this and that? They need to ask their agent these particular few questions. Otherwise, if they go back, if I don't give them a very straightforward question to ask the insurance agent, they don't know what to ask. When they don't know what to ask, they can only ask, can my cancer be covered, treatment be covered? So when you ask a vague questions, the agent can only answer, yes, it is covered.
Right.
They cannot tell you in a very detailed way. So I give them a very straightforward question, they jot down, they go back, and then during the next visit, usually they can come back with a straightforward answer. They will make us easier to decide what kind of treatment and what how to plan the management, this kind of thing.
So doctor, is it okay if let's say I bring my agent to sit in on a consultation together with the doctor?
Okay, personally, I have no offense with that. I think for me personally, I feel better because immediately their agents can help to answer some of the questions, but it depends on the patients themselves. If they feel that this is their personal privacy, they don't want to disclose too much of things, that is their choice. But usually if I know that the patient come with the agent, I always ask for patients, if this is your agent, you want the agent to sit next to you or you want the agent to wait outside.
Okay, so we have seen cases where the doctor gets the blame, the agent gets the blame, but is there any cases where the patient is the one that should get the blame because he or she did not do his responsibility in checking the policy or things that he or she should be doing?
You or me first?
Okay, I go first,
Okay, sure.
So in this case, when the patient is unable to claim, there will be few reasons. One, it could be an element of not disclosing fully of their medical conditions before or prior to getting the policy, which many of the case leads to an element of non-disclosure. When the element of non-disclosure comes into place, the company has the right to not move forward with the claim or even void the policy per se. So patients sometimes take things very lightly, like maybe a blood test done or a scan results done. Although the doctor has never said there's nothing wrong with you, but it's their right to disclose everything before going into an insurance policy, because we just don't know when this will surface.
Okay, just give example for what he said. Okay, let's say patient have diabetes and hypertension, and then it's a patient's responsibility to inform their the insurance company that they have. Okay, maybe during the time when they purchased the premium, the time patient was actually has no medical illness, but few years later or 5-10 years later, patient was diagnosed with diabetes, hypertension. It's their right to update their medical status. It's their responsibility, not the agents, not the companies. So later when you want to claim something like that, right, you'll be in trouble if you don't mention anything. Yeah. So due to a lot of reasons, a lot of personal or maybe neglected reasons that they may not want to mention. So when they truly come to the cancer claim that time, I always ask the patient, do you have diabetes, hypertension, this kind of thing, and when was it diagnosed? This is the reason why I asked all this. And then I always top up one more question, is that, do your insurance know about this or not? So I always tell my friends, my family, or anyone that if you have any long-term medical condition that requires long-term monitor, as long as you need long-term monitoring, with or without medications, you need to update your insurance company and let them decide this thing they need to jot down or not. Usually they will jot down and then they will say that, okay, this will not affect your annual premium and this and that. You just continue as it is. Or this thing will, next year onwards, because you have this disease, the premium charges need to change or something like that.
How small a symptom that you should already declare it?
Anything that need long-term monitoring.
Right.
That means, let's say you have a neck pain, okay? You don't need to have physio or anything, but you have done the MRI to confirm that you have a slip disc. You need to mention, because this thing may cause problem in the future. If you don't mention and then you bought the AV policy, right? Later you need to do something with your spine and found out that you got this thing before, right? They will decline.
Yes.
Okay, this is a very common one. The spine problem that the patient don't need any long-term medications, but they need long-term surveillance or follow-up. 5-10 years later, when this thing get worse, they want to claim, tak dapat.
How many of these cases do
I'm not doing spine case, I'm just giving an example.
Exactly.
I'm not orthopedics, they ask orthopedics. So the moral of the story is, regardless whether you need medicine or not, as long as you are found to have certain condition, I always tell my patient or my family, tell your agent.
Yes.
Okay, update your status so that they can make a note there that in future whether this thing will have any impact to your policy, that let the company decide. Okay, there is another condition which can make the patient's policy cannot make any claim is self-inflicted injury.
Correct.
Okay, especially for cancer cases. Okay, self-inflicted injury including suicidal attempt, or you take any non-standard medication or direct sales product or whatsoever things, traditional or complementary products that can bring down your health, or because your condition brought down, due to this reason, your cancer treatment cannot run, cannot proceed and make the condition worsen, right?
Yes.
Is still under self-inflicted injury. Yes, any self-inflicted injury, they have the right not to cover for the claim. Yeah. And usually the person who get the blame will be doctors. Yeah, in my conversation with patients, right, when I notice that they have this tendency or they're already taking some complementary or alternative treatment, usually I will tell them, do you know that anything happen if your condition actually, let's say, get intoxicated or your condition get worse due to all this medication or potentially due to all this medication, do you know that your premium will get in trouble? Right. Your claim. Usually I need to notify them this.
To add on to that, for suicidal cases, right, insurance policy would cover, provided the policy has been intact for more than 12 months and above. It depends on your clause, because we do not know when their mental health or state changes along the line. But as long the policy has been in force in insurance term for more than 12 months, and should the person decide to commit suicide, the claim will still be honored in that way. But it has to be more than 12 to 13 months. Yeah. So this is very important, because they don't want somebody to buy the policy today with the intention of suicide the very next month. So that's why. Yeah. But many of time, doctor, just to understand that, sometimes when somebody goes through cancer and any other conditions, right, while you would advocate Western medicine, sometimes they say, no, I like to prefer taking, Ayurvedic or traditional Chinese medicine. How does it affect what you are trying to help them with?
So for me, it's okay, you want to go for Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic, this kind of that, as long as it's under proper certified person. And the person need to bear a legal responsibility.
Yes.
That means you want to take this medicine, the patient and the person who provide this service to the patient need to both share the legal responsibility. Not like you take the thing and then you end up with trouble already. Then they say, oh, this thing I cannot settle, you go back to hospital.
Yeah.
Always discuss with the doctor if you want. I am quite open. If you want to take, you can tell me, and then I will tell you that this thing sounds reasonably acceptable, or sometimes certain practitioners, they are just scammer,
Okay, Adrian, once the doctor submits the GL, right, who decides whether to approve or to decline the claim?
There's a department where people will receive, and if they will have, I would say, a group of doctors to run through this and to see if it's a legit claim, because this is to prevent claims where, people probably have a condition, then buy a policy, and then a few months later just want to use the medical card and hoping the insurance company will pay. So all these things. So there would be a third party, I would say, a department to run through for major companies. For probably the other companies, they use a third-party administrator. So the third-party administrator can be a bit more sticky than any other in-house departments. Yes. Which I'm very sure Dr. Teo has experienced many of times.
Yes, every day.
Every day, yeah.
It's very highly dependent on the person who received the request and whether do they approve it or not. It's actually not the agent's fault. Right? Okay, it's not the agent to decide, just to let everyone know. It's not the agent to decide the claim is legit or not. It's not the company also to decide whether they want to accept or not. It's this team who received the GL request, they are the one to decide. And then they give the green light to the company that these things should proceed. Yeah. So every day I receive a lot of questions from this third party, and then sometimes it's quite hectic to handle it because they ask a lot of questions because you need to know, even though they may be medical doctors, but they are not oncologists. They are not from your particular subspecialty. They may not understand the situation. They may not understand the urgency. They may not understand the actual indication. They just know that you want to do this. We cannot presume that you are a doctor, I'm a doctor, so you must know what am I writing. It's not to be like that. It's when the claim being rejected, right? Usually you can talk to the doctor and see that sometimes the doctor can write a justification or further explanation why certain thing is needed or why certain drugs or treatment is required. And sometimes we need to do this appeal for few rounds. Then most of the time it can be covered because if the information is fully supported, it justified. Usually they are not that jahat. Okay, they will usually, as from what I noticed, they initially rejected is because they have lack of evidence or support material. Let's say, for example, hair and neck radiotherapy. The patient need to have some supportive medication, the cream, the gel for the oral gargle or the skin for the skin. But for insurance per se, anything for the skin, right, is excluded. By default, is excluded. So all these medication, when they come out in the bill, that time all this will be excluded. So the patient will get into angry mode and they come and doctor, why this thing not covered, right? So usually we need to justify why all these things are used, and then most of the time it can be covered later. Most of the time. Okay, so it just depends on how you justify the thing. And sometimes some of the GL submission is by handwriting. Correct. And doctor's handwriting sometimes can be quite challenging. The only 2% on earth that can read the doctor's handwriting well, 2% only. One is a pharmacist, one is a nurse. Sometimes even doctors themselves cannot read their own handwriting. Okay, one is the nurses, one is a pharmacist. They are very fantastic. They can actually read what I cannot read. Yeah. Okay, so unlike some of the insurance companies, their GL request, right, is through online. Through online, there are pros and cons. Online, everything will be typed out nicely, everything. But the drawback will be if the website down, or the website got problem, or the website non-stop loading, that will be a problem.
Okay, but coming from the patient's angle, point of view, right? Okay, the doctor always has their code of conduct.
Yes.
Okay, but what happens if I feel that I'm being misleaded or I'm being cheated by an insurance company or agent?
Or you have argument, or you want the...
Yes, or there's actually dispute that I'm not happy with, that I want to argue, that I want to seek for clarification. Yes. Where should I go to?
You want to answer first or answer?
I would say, you just say you have a dispute with the insurance company. They said you can always refer your case to Ombudsman, Financial Services, OFS, where they will mediate the whole matter. So they will mediate between the insurance company and the policy holder.
Just to enforce whatever thing you mentioned, the Ombudsman team, some patients may not want to go through that, or they may not know the existence of this team.
Yes.
Okay, or sometimes they may think that this Ombudsman team is actually under this insurance company. They think that is, at the end, maybe they are just favoring the company. Okay, so the other alternative will be Bank Negara.
Yeah.
A lot of patients, almost all my patients, they don't know that when they have any argument with the insurance, right, they bring the matter to the social media. Okay, they don't go through the proper channel. The proper channel is either you go to the Ombudsman or you go to the Bank Negara. Bank Negara, there is a subdivision. You can go online, you can go physically, go to the counter. There will be a branch for you to have to lodge any complaints or anything towards the insurance company. And once you bring this matter to social media, the channel is shut down. That means most of the time your insurance policy will be temporarily suspended and go under investigation. And then usually the insurance company will not have any further conversation with you anymore. It's their legal team that come and talk to you already. And for a patient, it's very kasihan because they themselves need the money at that time for treatment. And then their insurance policy is suspended. And then they need to face this legal issue. Yep. So if you still want to have negotiation with the hospital, you need to go through either their ombudsman or you go through the bank the other. They will create a channel, a pathway for you to negotiate. Okay? Usually the outcome is still okay.
Okay, so do not resort to social media, Google reviews to voice out your dissatisfaction. Talk to your doctor, get your doctor to help you. Talk to your agent, get your agent to help you.
At the end, if you cannot use the country, that means the bank Negara.
I feel that. Yeah, just to add on a little bit, Julia and Dr. While a lot of our arguments is like, what can be covered and what be covered, I just want to lay this down that, insurance company do pay. I must say, they do honor their claims. I personally have done so many claims, whether short-term claims or long-term policies, they do honor. But just be honest at the very beginning, before inception, then everything will go smooth throughout the process or throughout the policy duration. So that is something I would definitely advocate because insurance does pay. And I'm very sure Dr. Teo knows that many of times, yes, although we have certain dispute, but in the day they would pay because that's why we took insurance in the first place. Yes.
Okay, just a question, okay? Don't feel offended, okay? Is there any situation that, let's say the patient already know the patient got diabetes, and this may make the patient may not be able to get the insurance covered. So, will the agent try to do something to make this transaction done?
Okay, Doctor.
Because I do have a lot of friends, families, relatives, or even my patients, they told me that there are some agents like that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are agents out there doing this. They said, even if you have diabetes, you can apply with us. Don't worry, my company will approve and stuff like that. I'm sad to say, but they do exist, but that's not the right way. That's not the right way. I'm not sure if they're motivated by fame or money, but that's not the right way. Just to get the business in and get their commissions. That is why now Bank Negara being very, very strict and very, very stringent with anybody coming into the insurance industry. For those in the insurance company, we are going through different programs to ensure the professionalism is maintained from the beginning and throughout the whole process. And back to you, Dr. Teo, but like I said, Dr. Teo, not you, okay, but we come across a lot of situations. People with medical plan goes to the hospital and the hospital know, you have a medical card. And then they go through all kind of tests, whether related, not related, and then the bills are so high as compared if they were to pay themselves. Can you tell me why this is happening?
Okay. First of all, I cannot answer on everyone. I just talk about myself. I only do plan based on justification. If the patient need this, when I want to decide to do this, I always got an answer, an explanation and justification why I need this. Okay? I know some doctors or hospitals, they tend to do a lot of things. Okay? From layman's point of view, they may not be necessary.
Yes.
But for selected reason, I will mention to you, sometimes it's necessary. For example, medical legal reason. Okay, if you don't do this, you jump straight to the answer and then treat like as it is. Okay, clinically you're not wrong. Patient still get the treatment done, patient recovered, but then in case anything happens, no one to help you. You cannot justify your reason. Example, let's say you have a pancreatic mass.
All right.
With a huge pancreatic mass, looks like cancer, invading the surrounding with a high tumor marker, significantly high, 4 digits or even 5, 6 digits, 100,000. Patient still okay, walking around relatively asymptomatic and requesting for treatment. Can you start with the treatment without biopsy? Because any doctors with a medical background, right, they will say that this one is pancreatic cancer already.
Yes.
You can start treatment. Can they? In real life?
Right. Unless you do biopsy and do.
Yes. So for us, right, I personally, this is my personal practice, okay? If the patient still got time to do the biopsy, we will still proceed the biopsy first to justify, because some of the pancreatic cancer, pancreatic cancer, there are different subtypes. They may not respond to this particular treatment or the other treatment, okay? So if the patient still have this period of time to do this procedure, I will still proceed.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is the first thing, medical legal reason. Second thing is to let the insurance know that what you are doing. Because, just for everyone to know, after they approve your GL, right, they don't know what is happening. Yes. They just wait to receive the final bill, and then they guess what has been done, and based on what they have previously submitted to tell. So sometimes they need some tests to let them know, or some reports to let them know that, yes, this is justified. Otherwise, they don't know what is happening. Suddenly this thing done, suddenly another thing done. And then after that, this procedure was done. After that, chemo was done. They are clueless. For any layman, right, you just think of it. You will simply pay money just because the hospital issue you a bill, you know. They need to investigate. They need to know further. So sometimes some of the tests, right, is, I wouldn't say is totally useless, is to let them know the progress. If you want to say the patient got electrolyte imbalance, you need to show the patient got electrolyte imbalance and then a dehydration. Although clinically we can use a lot of clinical signs and symptoms to prove we can start treatment, but then we still need those proof to let them see. Right now. Yep.
Okay.
All right, I think we have quite an informative session today. Very compact, very informative about medical claims and what to do when you are being diagnosed with a critical illness or cancer. Thank you, Dr. Teo. Thank you, Adrian. So I hope all the policy holders out there review your insurance plan now. Talk to your agents before things are too late. Thank you, and see you in the next session. Bye.